Hello guys, so in this video we will take a deeper look at the labels and how can we change the properties for the labels on the map. So as we know, the labels is the text we have on the features, and usually ArcGIS Pro will automatically take the field that have the word name of the header of the field to use it as the label. So as you see here for the counties, we have the labels showing the name of each county, and the way to enable or disable the labels for any layer is by right click on the layer and say label. As you see here, we have the label option here, or you can open the label properties from here and it will open the label window for you, so you can change the labels for this specific layer. Also, you have the same option right here that you can come to the labeling ribbon and you can change the label options for the layer you selected right here. So because I'm selecting counties, now any changes I do here or here will apply to counties. If I select Orange County cities or any other layer, any changes I do here or here will apply to the labels in the layer I'm selecting from the content window. So let's stay at counties and go through all these options right here from left to the right. In the beginning here we have the labels, so when you click on this button here you will enable the labels or disable it, as you see right now. And here you have the option to edit or change the class. And the class is basically, if you want to create different classes for your labels, you can do it from here, and you can change the properties for any class from here as well. And this classes is for if you want to have labels to show in a certain way, let's say for example certain size or different color for some of the features, but the other features you want to show it in different color or different size, you can do classes for them. And we will see how can we do classes and what is the uses for the classes. Also, the way to see the classes is by coming to the labeling tab in your content window, as we saw before, and for each layer you will see how many classes it have for the labels, and you can enable or disable the classes from here, and you can also enable or disable the labeling from here as well. So right now, because we will work to change the settings for the county layer, let's hide all the other layers. Let's cities, freeways, Orange County, cities. So let's see now what is the cases you might need to create a class for the labels. Let's say for example we have large counties and we have small counties. Let's say I want to create a specific label for the large counties, like for example this county is right here. I wanted to have the name of the county, and next to it I want to show the area, and I want the label to be bigger and maybe in blue instead of the regular default black. So here we will create a SQL statement similar to the query definition, exactly similar to the query definition. And in the SQL statement, we will create a new expression, and we will say wanted to do label class for the features that have area greater than 3000. And you will press enter and apply. So now we created a class, and as you see here, we have the labels showing only for this class because we don't have any other classes. In order to show the other labels as well, we should come here and create label class, or you can do it from here as well. You click here and say create label class, and here we will say smaller counties and say okay. And now we have two different classes for the labels for the counties layer. But still we cannot see the labels because we need to define the expression. So here we will create an expression, and we will say I want this class to show the labels for the areas that is less than 3000 square miles. And you click apply. And after you click apply, you need to come and define which field you want to show as the labels. So here we will show the name as well, the county name. And once you change that, you will see that the names will show up here. Now we have two classes for the labels, and we can now change the properties for the labels to show different size or color, or how we want to change the label to look like for each class. Also here, if you click on this button right here, you will enable or disable the labeling for the entire layer. But if you enable or disable this checkbox right here, you will enable or disable the labeling for this specific class. And if you want to change the classes, you can come and change it from here, or also you can change it from here by selecting this drop down and select which class you want to work on. And here, as you saw, we choose the field from here, and here you create an expression for the field. And when you click on this button, it will open this window for you, and here you can define what is the expression for your label. So for example, you want the county name and next to it area and you show the area, or maybe you want to add the word county next to your county. So for example, here we have the county name coming from the county name field. So here we will say plus, and we add the word county next to the county name, and then we add and area equal plus, we add double click on the area. So now we will have the county name from the county field, and we will have this text next to it, and then we will have the area right next to it. And when I click validate to make sure our expression is valid, everything is okay, we apply, and you will see that the labels here will change for this specific class to show the label the way I described it right here. And also, as you see, the county name have no spaces between the county, so let's add space right here, say apply, and you will see that it has changed. So now we have a specific class for this small counties, and now we can change the properties for this specific class like we did with the expression. And here we can set the minimum and maximum scale for the labels. So for example, if you have small features and you don't want to show the labels unless the user zoom in or you zoom in into your map, you can go to the scale where you want to show your labels, and you can define the out beyond or the minimum scale by using a specific scale, or use current scale, and every time you zoom out, this labels will disappear. If you zoom to this scale you defined here or beyond this scale, you will see the labels. And this one you use it especially if you have small features that you want only to show the labels when you zoom into it. Same thing for the minimum and maximum scale for the layer or for the group layers. And you can come anytime and say clear the limits, so you remove any limits you have on your scale. So here you set the minimum and maximum scale, or in beyond and out beyond, to define when you want to show your labels. So now let's change the other things like how your text will look like. And here you have the option to choose a specific style for your labels, and you can choose any style. Like for example, for this one we can choose this style, and you will see that the text will change based on the style you chose. So let's make it boundary, you'll see that it's changed. Also, as you see, it's a little bit big and outside of the boundaries of our polygon, so you can come here and say I want to make my labels smaller, and you can change the font family from here. Let's make it Arial, and here you can change to be bold or italic or narrow. You can change anything here like you do in Word or any other text editor, and you can change the color for it. Let's make it here blue. And this is the options here to change the style of your label. The next option we have here is the placement of the label inside the polygon. Because we are working on a polygon layer, you have some options here that when you work on a line or a point layer, it will be different options and give you different abilities. So if you click on any one of them, you will see that the label position will change based on the choice or the placement you chose. And as you see right now, the labels didn't show up because when we chose the boundary placement, it put the labels right next to the boundaries, and that will make the label in a wrong placement inside the polygon. So you have the option here to say view unplaced. It will show the labels that in the wrong position or outside of the boundaries of your polygon, and it will show it in red color as you see right here, as this is an error right now and you need to fix it. So the way to fix this is to make the text smaller or to change it however you want, but you can put it back to the default one by using the land parcel, and it will go back to normal and it will look the way we chose it. So this one right here, they go back to the normal, but this one is still having the error because it's actually outside of the boundaries of the polygon. So to try the other placement option, let's go and choose the other class. Let's choose class 1 for this polygons right here, and let's try a basic polygon. You will see that the label will change position. As you see right now, it changed it to the direction of the polygon itself, and here you have boundary polygon. It will add labels around the boundaries. So for example, if you have a really large country or a continent and you want to place the labels on the boundaries instead of the middle, so every time you are on the boundary, you know which polygon you are in. And this one, for example, if I move in here between the boundary between these two polygons, you will see that I have the label here and I have the label here instead of be placed in the middle. So you have a lot of different options here. You can show it as a watermark and it will show up like curved as you see right now, and you have some other options, and there's more positioning options right here. You can do the placement orientation, you can do a stack or overrun, reduce the size. There's so many options for how to position your label on your polygon or your feature from the position here or this options right here. Or you can do the simple choice by choosing one of these options right here. So here also we have the option to do pause for the labeling, and this one you might need to use if you have a map that have a lot of labels. ArcGIS Pro, when it processes the labels, it sometimes takes time to process the labels and show it on the map, and it makes the map much slower. So if you are working on any map that you don't want to see the labels right now, you are not interested to see the labels because maybe you are doing editing or you know where you're at and you don't need to see the labels, you can say pause, and pause will not show any labels at all. That doesn't mean that the label is not enabled, but it just means that I am pausing the drawing of the labels to make my map faster. As you see right now, my map is much faster and the loading doesn't take time. But when I have my labels, the loading will take much longer and it will take some time to show the labels, especially if you have a lot of labels, as it will happen right now. So that's the way to pause your labeling and enable it from here. Or the other option is to make a lock, and lock will not cache your labels anymore. So for example, if we zoomed in and we zoomed out and ArcGIS Pro created a cache for these labels, there's no more caching will be created for the labels. If at this scale there is no image showing the labels at this scale, it will show the scale right now without doing any processing to show the labels in another scale. So that's also another option to use if you want to see the labels but you don't want to do the processing to change the position or the size of the labels every time you pan or zoom in or zoom out. Use the lock to see the labels but not doing any processing. And here you have more options like prioritize, weight, abbreviation dictionaries, summary, key numbering, and all these options here will help you give weights and priorities for your labels. If you have a lot of layers that showing labels on top of each other, you can give each layer or each class a weight, so you give priority and a weight for this label to show on top of any other labels. Also, you can create like a buffer around each label so it doesn't intersect with any other labels. For example, this one right here, as you see, we have the labels on top of each others. We can give it a weight. If this two different classes, we can give a weight or priority, and it will give priority for one of the classes or one of the labels and will put the other one below it or away from it. So this is the way to change your labeling position, placement, weight, and priority, just to make sure that you are showing your labels the way you want to show it exactly. And also, as you see here, for example, this label right here, when we zoom in and it will be placed in the right area, we have the area number have a lot of decimals that we don't need. We just care about like what is the actual whole number and maybe 2 decimals. So you can change this by going to this specific layer and go to the attribute table, and you can change the format of this label to show it right here. Or one of the other things is you can go and create the expression for your label using JavaScript or using Visual Basic Script or using Python. So for example, here we will choose this class that have the smaller counties. You will see that the expression we wrote earlier, let's make it using JavaScript, and we choose advanced. So this one will allow us to write a JavaScript code to make our label look however we want. So for example, here I want to show the name of the county and then the word county next to it. So I will type here var label. So I'm creating a property right now, and this one will equal the county name plus, and I will add the county word, and then I will add a new line by adding this symbol right here, \n. \n will create a new line for the remaining of my text, and I can say area equal. And right now, if I return the label as my label, it will see that it will have the county name plus the word county and a new line showing area equal without the actual value. If I say apply, and as you see right now, we have the name of the county and then county and one new line for the area equal, but we didn't add the area number. And to add the area next to it, we will just come here and say plus area. So this way you can use the parameters that comes into your function. So this is a JavaScript function, and you have the parameters coming in here as the fields you chose from here. So you can use these parameters to construct or calculate or to create your custom label out of these fields to return it as one single label, and it will show up right here. So for example, right now, if I wanted to use the object ID field inside my function, I just add a comma here and I can write object ID like that, or I can double click on this one and now I have the object ID in my function. So now I can come here and say plus, and I add a new line and I say object ID equal space and here plus, and I add the object ID. And then now my label will show the county name, as we see here, next to it the word county, and a new line showing the area, and next to it the area, and a new line showing the object ID, and next to it the actual object ID. When I click apply, you will see how that will look like right now. So here we have, as we said, like the name of the county and area, and the object ID equal 9, which is the object ID of this specific feature. So you can, again, you can construct your label however you want from here. Also, after you finish writing your JavaScript or Visual Basic code, you can save it. So here you can click export, and we can call it labels expression, and we say save. And this file you can use to send it to anyone. They can import it here by clicking here and import, or at any other time you want to use the same expression you wrote, you can import it from here as well. And here you can validate, make sure that your expression is valid. If there is any errors, before you click apply, it will show up right here, tell you that there's an error that you need to fix it. And here you can apply, for example, remove extra spaces or remove extra line breakers. So now we know what this window shows. Here you can, choosing the class will allow you to create the expression for the label or create the query for your layer to apply this label to a certain features based on a certain condition. Or here you can change your minimum and maximum scale. The same options you have here, it's right here. And here you have your symbol, which is this options right here. You can change the appearance, you change the font size, you can change the size, the text color, the outline color, you can change the background color of your label, you make it underline or strike through. And every change before you click apply, make sure that to look here to see how your label will look like. So for example, here I can say underline, I see that my labels will look like that, or strike through, you will see that here like that, or you can change it all to lowercase or all to uppercase, regardless or how it's in the field. You can change it from here as well. Also here you have the position adjustment. So for example, you can say subscript, so it will show you where the label will be positioned to the center of the feature. So here you can show the grid, and you can change the offset for the position of your label to be on the right side of your feature. So for example, if we're showing for a point features, you can change the X offset or the Y offset to be on the top, right, left, or the bottom, up to you. You can change it from the position right here. Here also you have the rotation. After the position you have the rotation and you have the halo. So let's make our label a little bit bigger to see how the halo will work, and keep the position the same way. So you can change the halo symbol by choosing any type, and you can change the color for it to be, for example, let's make it red, and you can change the outline for the halo to be green. I know it will look so weird, the green, blue, and red, but I'm just showing you how you can do it. And here you can change the size of the outline, let's make it 3, and the size of the halo itself. So now you will see that you have like a buffer around this text to show like how we see right now. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, you can make it like different colors, you can make the outline different colors, you can design it however you want. Also the next option here we have the shadow, and the shadow you can create a shadow for your label. So here let's choose the shadow to be yellow, and we make the shadow position to be on the top and right by changing the offset. And now as you see, you have a shadow for your label. You can change the color from here to make it gray, and you can change how your shadow will look like. Also here you have a call out, so you can change the design of your label to look like it's a call out, let's say like this, so the label will look like that. Or you can change it to balloon, so it will look like this. So this is the options you have for your labels. You have so many options to design your label however you want using these options right here. So I'm not going to apply this one because it looks weird. So I'm going to cancel these changes, and I want to show you how can you remove a class after you created it. So because this layer we have two classes, we have the class 1 and we have the smaller counties class. Make sure to click on classes and then you select which class you want to work on, for example to delete or remove. So here we have the smaller counties selected. Here's the name for the class. So I'm gonna come here and say remove the label class. You can also rename it, but I just want to delete this one. So I'm gonna remove it, and now all the labels here will be deleted. So what I will do right now, I will remove this query so I can apply the settings for the labels on all the features. And after I click apply, it will apply for all the features. And now we know how can you create a class, how can you rename it, and how can you delete it or change any settings for your labels. Also, we will come here and change the position. Instead of a watermark, we will change it to land parcel so it looks normal like how we have it before. And now we return everything back to normal, but you know how to change it right now. One more thing I want to show you to change the labels for the freeways, and that will make our freeways looks much nicer. So for example, here I can enable the freeways. Let's disable the counties and zoom in a little bit more here, and make sure you select the freeway here so we can enable the labels for it. And you will see automatically it will take the freeway ID. If we open the attribute table, it will show the freeway name because this one have name in it. It will show the freeway name as the default name for the labels, but we want to show the labels in a much different way. So we are going to the labeling options right here, and we will just choose the style to show it as a freeway symbol. So this one, once I choose it, you will see that the icons for the labels change it, and it shows the number of the freeway inside of it. But as you see the placement, but as you see also the placement for this icons is tilted, so we can place it right by coming here and change the style or the placement for it by coming here and say I want it to be like shield or straight, and that will make my labels straight. And you can also change the size. If you change the size here, let's make it 26, you'll see that it became so big and it doesn't look. So let's return it back to 8 how it was before, and that's how our labels for the freeway will look like, and it looks nice like any other freeway. Also, let's see what other options we have with the points. So let's disable the freeways, enable the cities, and zoom to Orange County cities. As you see here, we already have our base map have the names of the main cities inside Orange County. So let's hide our base map so we can see the labels that we will create, and we can choose the cities. Make sure you choose the layer before you do any changes right here, and we can enable the labels. And you will see that each one will have the name of the city right next to it. And here you can change the placement for the position of the label. Maybe you want it to be on the center on top of the point, and that's the default one, or you want it to be on the top right of each point. So every single label will be on the top right of each point as we see right here. Or you can change the position in more details by right click and say label properties, and you can go to the position here and you can make it, for example, the placement. You can change it in so many different ways from here, and the orientation you can change it from here, or you can change the rotation for it by coming here and say, for example, let's make it 90 degrees. You will see that it will change. So I encourage you to play with this positioning option for the polygons and the lines and the points to see how every single change applies to your labels and how it will look like after you change it. And try different styles, try different colors, try different things, try different weights and priorities. This is how you can change these settings. So now I showed you how you can change the symbol style, how you can change the weight, the properties, how you can change the positioning, and how you can change the color and the size, make the minimum and maximum scale, create classes, remove classes, and do your labels however you want to do it for any kind of feature class. And what we did right here is very important for any cartographic to know all the details. So if you are going to work in data entry or creating maps or creating layout maps, you need to know every single details about these options right here, because it will help you create your map however you want it to be like. And in another video we have a use case where we will need to create a map looks exactly like this one. So we will see other options. How can we apply one of the settings for the labels or the polygons or the layout itself to show or create a map that looks exactly like that. So that's it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you know how to do the labels, how to enable it, and how to do all the things related to the labels to make your map looks beautiful. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video.